made him into what he finally turned out to be. Now he took what he turned out to be and made it fit something else. See, so Moses was born and he was raised among the best. He had the
That's
best
right.
of learning, and he was somewhat of an
I
architect.
don't want to get too
So,
off where we
Yeah.
want to go. I don't want to get hung up on this leadership thing. I want to talk about our community, where we are as a people, and
Well,
you two gentlemen perspective on how do we get out of it. On let's talk about how we got in it. How do we get in the mess that we're in today?
go ahead, Doc.
go ahead, George.
Well, right now, I think we're where we want to be. Uh, we just miss, we're missing the boat, and I think, but right now, I think we're where we want to be, to the extent that you get what you plant. We are getting results, the seeds we planted, and the only way we can change that is change the seeds.
Okay, Fred, you look like you want to say something. Let's talk about
I don't think we're where we want to be. We always should aspire to be more than what we are today. We see others do great things, and that inspires us to want to do something as well or better. So inspiration comes out of the time that we're in and what we see among us. I wanted to do some things because my father did something, my brother did something, or a friend of mine did something. I thought if he could do it, I could. And so you reach aspirations out of other things that take place. People that you know. I remember once a friend of mine won a lot of money, and I wanted to go over to the racetrack to see if I could win it.
it.
You know, it's just that simple. It happens in other things also. I have friends who are lawyers, doctors, and it inspire me to want to do something more with my own life.
But with that point said, I think that's one of our problems. I think we've got away from simplicity, and we can't be simple anymore.
Right.
There was a day, and I was talking about this earlier today, that if a man worked for the sanitation department and he took care of his family, he was
Good
considered
man.
successful.
Right.
And we've gotten away from making those people continue to be successful. A man gets off of drugs and he gets a job and he takes care of his family. He's successful, and success comes in small steps. And I try to preach this a little bit because people want to take giant steps. One accomplishment, and like you said, confidence. One accomplishment at a time, one step at a time. Don't try to grab the whole elephant, one bite at a time. And then you make success. And we got to get back to, and this is the reason why I don't read Jet and I don't read Ebony, because we sensationalize the people who are at the top. We don't talk about where the majority are normal, everyday, average people. And it's okay. And we got to start preaching it's okay to be normal and average.
Yeah. Steps are different from leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Some things come along gradual, very slow, very slow. And some things that happen today and tomorrow you're here. And when we look around, they're not there anymore, and we become disappointed. How did that happen? Sometimes we travel too far to find our way back.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
You
lift
know.
ourselves too high, so it's dangerous to fall.
and we've got to stop doing that. We've got to start talking about and we call this the real people station. This is a real
Yeah,
people station. This isn't this people station. This is the real people
right,
station because we talk to the people you can touch, smell, and
right.
see every day. But we sensationalize the people we can't touch, see, associate with, any of that. And we got to get away from that.
Right. And I believe that our foreparents perhaps were more successful than we now give them credit. But they did that grinding out, slow grinding out every day, every day, every day. They went out to jobs and they just grinded out every day, every day.
And they were considered successful for
Great,
doing.
great, successful people. could go out and work 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and come home and eat his dinner and get up and go back the next day to church on Sunday. And he built a family around him as strong and as big as he was. That through his name, things began to develop. Out of the other race would say, get two of Charlie boys over there. They're all right. They're all right. You know, and they were riding on their fathers and mothers. And we got to get back, as you say, to some of those things down that we grind it out with our children. You can't say, no, I'll wash my hand of my child. You got to stick with him.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to stick with him. You got to stick with him.
And I just think this over sensationalizing of the celebrity and the celebrity houses and the celebrity cars have gotten us away from the root.
Right.
I can appreciate their success, but that doesn't have any effect on my life. You all have effect on my life. I talk to you guys.
Right.
You share stories with me. I don't share stories with Shaquille O'Neal.
Right. Right.
I don't ride in the car with him. I don't break bread with him. So we have to, as a community, get back to being simple again.
Right.
Yeah, we want progress. Yes, we want the finer things. And I can't even say everybody wants the finer things. But we've put this standard that we have to have this in order to be considered successful. And that's not true.
Right. I think a couple things happen. We don't have the time. Somehow it's no longer 24 hours in a day with some of us. It's only 4 or 5, and that's the only time we have. And we don't have time to share. We don't have time to be ourselves with others. We're on the fly all the time. I think if we can make the time for our children, make the time for our families. We have families now don't even know they live next door to their own cousins.
So you say we need to sit at the dinner table again,
right,
and have dinner, because we
right,
don't do that anymore.
Right, and you don't have to have a smorgasbord to do that. I eat with my brothers and my dad and my mother and father every day. Only one thing in the little tin pan sometimes. Just perhaps peas and bread, that's all. You didn't have to have just a laid out thing to do that. And we were taught to do table manners, not to talk with food in your mouth, not to play at the table, not to do certain things, and that carried on. But now, I was in a school the other day and children were throwing food at each other.
Wow.
That never would have happened in our house. No, never. If they had known that at the table you don't play, you don't throw food, the training starts at the basis.
Exactly.
At the very bottom. It starts right there. And it sticks to you. The Bible is not wrong. It said, train up a child in the way to go. When he gets a lot, he won't stray from it. What you learned is what you're using today. Yes, you may have gotten some in school and in other places, but what you got at home is still there.
Absolutely. So what is the condition of the young black male? You falling asleep on me?
No, sir, I'm not. But the question was, how do we get from there to where we are now?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's going to take some young black men to get there too, isn't it? So how are we going to do it?
I mean, everybody know what the problem is, but the question is still on the table. How do we get from there to where we are now?
All right. Well, better yet, how do we get in the mess we're in?
Yeah.
How do we get where we are now?
I don't know if there's just one word, and we can throw out some words. Respect is one of them.
So we lost it at some point.
We've lost respect.
How? How did we lose it? How did we lose it when Grandma and everyone
taught us
that? How did we just go off the road on that?
Well, black men have to show all to everybody else he comes into contact with that he knows what respect means. He respects his family. He wouldn't go out and do certain things that might not look good to his family. And my father used to tell us, don't go out here and ruin my daddy's name.
Yeah, absolutely.
He used to tell me that all the time, and You know, I couldn't understand it then. But he was definite with that all the time. He said, I'm carrying my daddy's name, and don't you go out here and ruin my daddy's name. And if